One of these days, I'm gonna fight my uncle. Story time. So, my uncle has a really hard time keeping a job. Basically, he gets fired a lot because he has a bad attitude and he's super lazy. And because he's always getting fired, he never has any money, so he has to resort to asking me and my other family members for money all the time. And today he asked if he could stop by to borrow some money from me. And I wasn't going to give it to him at first, but I felt bad because he is my uncle, so I was like, okay, sure, why not? Now, one thing to note about my uncle is that he says he's okay with me being gay, but he still makes little comments that irritate me. So when he gets here, I ask him how much he needs, and he tells me. So I reach into this bag because this is where I had my money at the time. And he was like, can't you keep your money in something else? That bag makes you look feminine. And I was like, can't you keep a job? Begging for handouts makes you look broke. Oh, okay. I thought a broke bitch said something. Let me live.
Am I the asshole for refusing to let a female student use the bathroom? Okay, so boom. I know this title makes me look like a major asshole, but hear me out. I, male 46, work at a high school as a PE teacher, and recently I noticed that a student of mine, let's call her A, stopped participating in class. Her excuse would always be the same. Mr. Smith, that's me. I'm on my period. Can I please go to the bathroom? This carried on every PE lesson for 1 month when our unit was dancing and I had to give each student a mark. At this point, A was concerningly behind everyone in our unit and I had nothing to grade her on. I was getting increasingly annoyed, and up until this point, I had never told her no. And when she goes to the bathroom, she comes back after 45 minutes. So once again, she asked if she could use the bathroom because she was on her period, and I just snapped. If you're on your period this often multiple times in 2 months, then I honestly think you need help. Am I the asshole for refusing to let a female student use the bathroom? Part 2. Okay, so boom, like I said, if you're on your period this often multiple times in 2 months, then I honestly think you need medical help. I have to grade you. Come up and participate. Later that day, at around 17 o'clock, I was placed on temporary leave because of the complaints I got from A's parents, and A had also gotten her friends and their parents to complain. I was being called sexist and multiple other names by the student parents, and I was honestly so confused. And multiple of the students' parents threatened the principal to turn to social media or even enroll the girls in another school because of me, because they felt unsafe with a sexist teacher. Once again, I'm a male, 46. Am I the asshole? And what should be the next action to regain the parents' respect?
Story time about how I almost got kidnapped by my online boyfriend. So a little background information, I was 16 and in 11th grade. So a year before this all happened, I posted a picture on Instagram saying, add me on Snapchat if you want to be friends. Yes, I was that person. Anyway, so this really cute guy adds me on Snapchat. And after about 3 months talking, he said that he wants to meet me in person. And he didn't sound sus at all, so I was like, sure. So we met at this park that was like 30 minutes away. We met there around 6 o'clock, so when the sun was setting. And he was super nice, it was super romantic. Well, then we went to his house, we watched a movie, and we did the nasty. So after that, he asked me if I want a drink. And what I could have swore was 20 minutes later, I wake up in an abandoned farm shed. With no clothes or anything. So I start screaming my head off. I don't have my phone or anything, so I start to run. And then he grabs me. He says, if you try to run or you try to scream, I am going to kill you. Like for part 2. Part 2 about how I almost got kidnapped by my online boyfriend. So like I said, I wake up in this abandoned farm shed. I don't have no clothes. I don't have a phone. So I try to run and he grabs me. He says that if you run, I will kill you. So I was like, okay, fine. What do you want from me? So he starts putting on lingerie and tells me to also put some on so we can take pictures together. What the actual you know what? So after that, he starts crying and he starts telling me his whole life story and how he's not who I think he is. Turns out that he's 32 and he just goes online pretending that he's 17 years old. So I just try to comfort him, right? It ends up working. He brings me my clothes, tells me to run, or else he's going to, once again, kill me. So I run, I go to this gas station, get picked up by the police, find my parents. Luckily for me, I paid attention to where everything was. He was arrested, he's still in prison to this day, and I got grounded for 3 months.
Story time about how my best friend started seeing my mom. So we're gonna call my best friend Joey. Joey and I had been best friends since we were 4 years old, and my family was really close with his and vice versa. And she had always been really nice to him, of course, because he was a family friend and he was my best friend. Well, one day I thought that she liked him a little bit more than she liked me. She would always ask the weirdest questions. Like, oh, is Joey single? Or what's Joey's sexuality? Like, sis had a whole ass husband. But at the time, I didn't think anything of it because I just thought that she really wanted him and I to date. But when he turned 15, things started getting a little bit weirder. Like, sometimes he would go over my house right after school, even when I wasn't there, to hang out with my mother. And usually the only time he was at the house was whenever him and I were hanging out. Well, the one day I walked in and they were both sitting on the couch talking. And when they both saw me, they acted like nothing was wrong with it, like for part 2. Part 2 about how my best friend started seeing my mom. So like I said, the one day I come home after school and they're both sitting on the couch already talking. And they look at me and say hi as if nothing was wrong with the situation. And then after that, Joey started mentioning how my mom was so hot. And I was like, yeah, no, she's pretty, but that's it. Well, the one day my mom left for work earlier than she usually does. So I messaged my dad and asked him if he wanted to hang out. So of course he said yes, and 5 hours later I came home and I go upstairs. And I'm just like hearing things from my mother's bedroom. So I go up and I open the door. And because I don't want this video to get taken down, you guys probably can guess what I saw. So I ran out of the room, ran downstairs. I start panicking. And Joey came and hugged me and said, I'm sorry, me and your mom just love each other. So I told them both they were absolutely disgusting. So then my mom starts crying and begging me to forgive her. And now I live with my dad.
Y'all, we ain't never getting out this platypus. We finna have a COVID-22, COVID-23, COVID-24. We ain't ever getting out this pandemic because of this foolishness. I order food every single day. I am a hungry bitch. I use DoorDash. They have like this no contact delivery thing. And usually when the delivery person arrives, they call me to let me know that they have my food. I always tell them to leave it at the front porch and I'll go get it. And so they leave it at the front porch and then they drive away. Well, yesterday when I ordered Chipotle, this Dasher called me to let me know that he was here. I told him to leave it at the front and he just stood in my front porch for like 5 minutes. Once he realized I wasn't coming out, then he left. Weird vibes. Like I was scared to get the food even after he left because I thought he was gonna jump out the bushes. So this is what I got. I got a burrito, and in Chipotle you have the option to like double wrap your burrito with the tortilla. I didn't get that, but if I did, it would have showed up on here. Usually when I get my food, I just bite into it. But this time I decided to check it because this guy was giving me such bad vibes. He had the audacity to double wrap it with the tortilla to hide the fact that he took a huge chunk.